Robot Monster. That's the back of it. Robot Monster. The classic 3D film. This is a 70th anniversary restoration by the 3D Film Archive. It's a movie that perfectly encapsulates cheesy 50s sci-fi. But considering the age of these elements, the quality is excellent. When you look back at some of these other movies that were done with those adapters that they would put on single cameras, like from the 70s, wow, the quality is so much better here. And I think this is an essential addition to a 3D collection. The opening titles right away wow you. Opening titles sometimes are just, they might get lazy, but not here. You've got the layers of these comic books, and then the layers of the lettering, and then the layers of the showing the stars of the film in a deep circle inset in the graphics. It's really cool looking. There are some 2D shots inserted, like of lizards and animals, but that's very few and far between, and the vast majority is native 3D. Another exception would be the shots of stock footage of destruction in cities and the like, but an interesting technique was used here on purpose to have a different view in each eye. It wasn't stereoscopic. It was showing different stock footage in each eye for like a disturbing effect, because it was supposed to be disturbing, showing how the world came to this point. The characters sometimes used a display screen. It's like a video phone or television, but that screen itself is viewed in 3D. So you have 3D footage superimposed on the screen. And they don't shy away from using effects that will just work great in 3D, even if they don't seem to make sense, like using bubbles. So you've got this great deep cave, and you got the bubbles, which are always great for 3D, being that they're in space, isolated. They can be in the front, and they move slowly. And even some on-screen effects, like reaching out and lightning drawn onto the image. Of course, the 3D Film Archive, unlike some others, knows the importance of fixing vertical misalignment, which will always be present in analog elements. Of course, like I said before, this is widely viewed as being a cheesy movie, down to the main character himself, Roman. He's just a hodgepodge, basically, of, it seems, what they had on hand. You've got a gorilla suit, and you've got a space helmet stuck on top instead of a gorilla head. The posters, for some reason, show a skull inside the space helmet, but this was not the case in the actual movie, so I'm not sure where that came from. And watching him walk around, he doesn't exactly look threatening. He walks almost daintily. It kind of reminds me of the skipper on Gilligan's Island, you know, how he would hold his arms up when he's walking, prancing along there. But that being said, I still actually found the movie enjoyable, even the story. Some people might disagree with me and just say it's all trash, just the 3D is worth it, but I didn't mind the story too much, honestly. I think it had some interesting parts. The way the narrative was told was something you might see more in modern movies, not just telling you arbitrarily what happened, but inserting it into conversation to catch you up on where it was, how we got to this point. It wasn't apparent at first, the dire straits the world was in, and what exactly happened before that. And also some things that reminded me of like A Quiet Place. For instance, the family hiding out in these ruins, and they have these electric things around to prevent them from being heard, because that's how the monster will get them. He hears them, so they can't speak when they're outside of those confines. They use sign language to converse with each other. So, yeah, I wonder if A Quiet Place imitated that. And it's funny, in one of the shots, you can actually see a shot of a ship, but you can see the person's hand holding the vehicle on a stick, moving it through the smoke. It's subtle, but you can see it if you look for it. As for the disc itself, As usual, 3D Film Archive always has a great menu. So you'll get a nice 3D converted menu with different layers and angles. They also included a short film that was meant to demonstrate 3D, a brief comedy routine, and they attached this to the beginning the way it was originally shown. And on the extras, there's also some very interesting information about the 3D Film Archive and Bob Furmanek and how he found this and some of the history behind that, as well as the star of this short film and how they caught up with him. There's also an interview with the actor who played the boy in the movie. That's also very interesting. And plenty of extras. It has lots of extras. Over 2 hours, in fact. So while this is a short movie, just a little over an hour, this is not a short disc. So a lot of great content on here. No filler. Some beautiful, crisp 3D slides, 3D still photos from the 50s. Lots of those with narration, very witty narration. And also very interesting subject matter. Besides just normal people, also some historic photographs that are very interesting to look back at. Also some 3D demonstration short films. They went back to that cave and did a little bit coming out with the mask on and the bubbles. And this was all filmed with 3D standard definition camera rigs. But it's very interesting. And also a comedic short. And interesting fact, Eric Kurland from 3D Space, he plays Roman in this satirical take. It's not canon. Not canon. Well, I'm assuming that. But of him being interviewed in his later years. And of course, all that 3D bonus material and more that I don't even have time to mention is all mentioned on the inside of the Blu-ray case in detail, so you can keep track of what there is to still watch where you're at. And some of the bonus material is 3D, some is 2D, and has the anaglyph version too, of course. So yeah, this is a must-own.